To ParrB SME Steel. This was a case of a building. So we're looking at here is the top-down steel structure of a Google campus in California. We're responsible for erecting the steel and just putting a couple things together on site and then lifting up with cranes and getting everything all structurally sound. And then there was another contractor who was in charge of manufacturing the steel, and then they went and offloaded a bunch of that manufacturing onto us, and that caused a bunch of delays. One little fun fact is for the steel for this, they were using drill pipe. Some company was bending drill pipe and then fastening it all together. So just kind of a reuse of an oil field, otherwise waste product. So kind of cool. Anyway, so I'll just step through this PowerPoint just so you can kind of see how this thing was supposed to be built. So they planned it, and then this is how they actually built it on the right. And they had a bunch of comments of cranes being used, and they had all these different sequences. And these guys are very well put together. They wanted to do this whole thing in 3D, but they did not have the 3D available, unfortunately. So I'll just kind of fly through this. Gets a little old. I can't remember what their color coding means. I think it's a different crane being used. So right here, you can only see we have 2 cranes being used. Over here, we have 3.
Is this for the structural steel for the whole building or just the roof structure?
So this was, I don't know. I think that this was including the sides just to lift all this up because like they had, I think, a couple middle supports here and there or columns. But yes, I do believe this was just for all the steel in the building, but largely the issues are with the roof because the pillars I don't think were that complex.
This looks a lot like the Pillsbury W. Hunt with the roof structure for the Arthur Ashe Stadium in New York. It's a similar kind of story.
Yeah.
And we had dates on there at one point, but they since went and removed them for their case or for their exchange. There were some disputes for how they wanted to actually show it. Which one do I want to show? There have one. Okay, so this was how it was supposed to be constructed. So SME was supposed to not fabricate anything. They're supposed to just receive it all, weld a couple things together on site, and then slap it up with a crane. And their people that are in a dispute with W&W were supposed to fabricate everything and then have it delivered to SME on time. And then at some point they decided, oh, SME, you need to go and also build, or can you fabricate these for us because we can't handle it? SME said, we'd rather not, but okay. And then later they said, oh, can we also do these 4 parts here and then a bunch of trusses and smiley trusses, or they just look like big smiles. It's a connecting member and it's just kind of bent like a smile. And I think those are made out of the drill pipe. And then now they just kind of show how they were requesting materials. So on whatever date, SME saying, give us X, whatever sequences here and here and here. And then, it's just kind of material delivery requests. So I'm not sure how the whole linear story goes because it gets a little choppy to me, but it made sense to the attorney, so it made sense for me. And the rest are just kind of little one-off delays. I don't want to get into them all because they kind of get redundant. And we also did Chronos for them, nothing too exciting with it. It was fairly straightforward. We got the Chronos to them fairly early. They used it a lot for prep. And then they came back to us after about a month or so and wanted more changes, which was fair enough. It was kind of right before their exchange.
And one of the things about this particular construction case is that the company had to build a jig or like a giant template that was like equipment that sat on the ground, like stands that held all these pipes up exactly in the right position. And then once these jigs held the pipes up in the right position, then they could assemble them and put them together. So they needed to have the jig not only in the shop when they were making the parts, but then they had to have the jigs on site while they were putting them together. And that was all part of this, very elaborate timed thing. Yeah, here's a picture of one. So all that timing had to be exactly right, and all the pipes had to be there and in place along with these jigs, so everything could be held together and assembled.
This